YouTube. 2 seconds. Just do the usual move the chat about so I can see you. Pop out chat. Grab chat. Grab chat. Put there. Make smaller. Center. There. Hey Victory House, how's it going? Is everything on? Is there sound? Hello, where am I? Right, top chat, nope. Live chat, yes. And then where did I type in anything? Do I have an option? Bear with me, it's not actually 8 o'clock yet, so I've not actually started. I've not put my teeth in either, but sod it. Right, we're on. Woo! Oh. Oh. Still busy. Hey Stevie! So how is everyone? Who's all in the house? Oh. I think I've flung that cold. I'm feeling a bit better today. Been messing about. And I bought myself a bottle of Bucky yesterday just so I could have it. Oh. Just noticed that YouTube had unsubbed me. Oh no, that Doomcock guy always talks about that. And I just assumed he was at it. Yeah, so I'm going to put a message in saying if could you check, make sure you're subbed. Actually, I saw there was a thing which I'm not sure was there before, where people are who you can let chat, and there's a subs only, and I was wondering, if it gets more popular, maybe I'll have to do that. Whoa. Hey, Yoakum! Hey, Alex, how's it going? How's Greenock? Oh. I'm back on the wine first time. Was that 3 weeks? Will it be nice? Will it be Hackett? It's nice. Yeah, I can kind of feel it going, flowing through my body, through my veins. Yeah, so is the mic sounding all right? I'm doing a different way of, I'm not using the orange amp tonight, I'm using this other one. And I've got a loop pedal for the first time in months. I think I kind of stopped using it when I was back in the other house. I've definitely not had one plugged in when I got here. The neck's always worse. I get a feeling I'm missing something. Hey, Kenneth! Cheers, Joachim! It's the latest high-tech technology. I got modding earlier on. I was trying to run the bass amp just to make bass easier to record, because I've been miking it up and stuff, and bass is dead difficult to do. You know, I'm a wee bit the neck of the bottle of wine. Totally. I thought you were talking about guitars. There we go. We're talking about wine as well. The neck sometimes nice, but I think I always feel that, see, once you get down to, not, but by the time you get to the label, you're a bit drunk. But this sort of bit is the best bit. The sort of the bottom half of the neck. Hey Daniel, how's it going? Hey Ben. We're on the bucket. Does not contain medicinal properties. I think it does. Yeah, so I wanted to run the line out of a bass amp into the desk, because in here I've got like the big desk I had. Well, it's in the YouTube room. I've not got to it yet. The big 16-track thing. It's like big, and then I had a smaller Mackie, an 8-track, a 12-channel one, and a dodgy sockets on, just because it's dirty and it takes to bits. And I've got this wee tiny Tapco desk which has like 2 XLR-ins, like mic preamps, and then 4 stereo channels, but just like a sort of line in type things. So I could really only run one mic here and then one on the guitar amp, whereas I wanted to use the line out on the Roland Coupe bass amp. The problem is when you stick the cable into the headphone socket / line out, it mutes the speaker. So I broke into it and added a switch, so I can now mute the speaker or not mute the speaker if you're using headphones, which means that I can run. It means I can plug it into the desk, have it running through, listen to it on headphones through the computer with the amp off, get the sound that makes sure it sounds all right, and then turn the amp back on again, so I don't have to wear headphones. I can listen to it. And on this one, I think the switch I used was broken, so I have broken into the amp I'm playing through. But basically now the speaker mute doesn't work at all. I think the switch was broken. Hey, Mr. Whitesnake. Sorry, I hadn't said anything interesting. I was waiting for you to come in. Talking about the intricacies of recording live. I need to do a proper video. This is a good amp though. So this guitar actually did a video on it, didn't put it. No, I did do a video on it, but I refretted it, but I was talking dead fast because I was kind of knackered. Woman by the waist and your bucky by the neck. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't see anything wrong with holding your bucky by the arse. Yeah. But very good. Yes, I like it. That glass table. I don't know if I like putting bottles of Bucky on a glass table. Mr. Whitesnake, I'll let you into a little secret on how to do this recording thing. Just sticking it straight into the computer. None of this microphone crap. That's the finest of, I'm going to say maybe early 2000s cab simulator technology. Yeah. An Epiphone master built archtop. I can't imagine. I mean, I don't have one of those guitars. I do fancy one. I don't know if I fancy an archtop. The problem, you do get cheap. Obviously, that's a master built, which doesn't imply it's going to be a cheap one. But I've never really had an archtop. I've seen one that I thought looked either was expensive or it didn't. It looked really cheap. You know what I mean? The old 30s design. But you get ones that are kind of like in the 60s and 70s. Before, I think it was kind of split. You got sort of cheap acoustics. You could buy like a cheap nylon stringer or a cheap archtop with F-holes in it type thing, but they're a bit shit. I don't know if the any of them really survived that long. But no, I don't know. I quite fancy it. I was going to say I did have. The only guitar I had that was anything even remotely in that direction was a Yamaha AEX, but I sold it before I moved. I paid for the car. That was a good guitar. But I mean, it was one of those ones that I rarely ever played it when it came out. Yeah, so this is a telly that I've had for ages now, but it needed a refret. And I refretted it, and it actually worked. While I was ill, it was working quite well because I kept feeling all right. So after I felt all right for sort of 20 minutes, I was like, right, I'm going to go and do something. And unfortunately, when that got to, I'll go down to the shop, so I went up to the car, and then it's like, whoa. So I couldn't handle going outside, so I was basically just going through, and I found a wee bag of frets, and then I counted them all out, and it was like, so basically in about 20 or 30 10-minute sections, I refretted this, and then it started being good, and then it ended up being really good, and then I redid the wiring. So now this was a pickup I never liked. It's still somewhere. Was lying on the floor down there. Oh, it was like an Ibanez pickup with that cover on it, which I always felt was a bit bling. The guitar already had a hole cut there, so it's like structural, that metal ring. So I put this Ibanez neck pickup in because it kind of matches the colour, and this time I did actually wire it so you get like a proper in humbucker mode. The concept worked, but I'd wired it wrong. Pickup didn't have enough wires, but this one I modded to have the wires, so now I've got like that. You pull the pull pot, you get that as a humbucker and that as a humbucker. Hey Jimmy! I've been rebuilding a 1965 Milton's bicycle. I don't know what a Milton's bicycle is, but it sounds good. Oh yeah, yes, of course, your wee Jepson. It's an Antoria. But it's like, this is after like the sort of more as good as a Fender type era. You're getting there. So some of the bits are a bit a different design because I don't think you had it, but quality wise, it's just a Fender Japan basically. I just refretted it as well. Jeremy, look, it's like my first ever refret when I was ill. It's got dual sonic pickups in it. Neck using this coil here. And then with the bridge. With the bridge. Humbucker. Bridge humbucker. I always liked the feel of this guitar. It was never quite at the level. I think it was visualization. I was in the shop. Yeah, that was the thing. It was like I was kind of almost doing it to. Like the way I looked at it, I didn't really want to lose this guitar because it needed refretted anyway. And basically, provided I didn't destroy it by putting it in, if I put the frets in wrong, I could just take them out and put them back in again later when it was. And it was something. It was kind of the whole going mad, sitting trying to watch crap telly. Well, not crap telly. We try to watch Blake 7, but kind of not being able to follow it because I'm not feeling well. Just needing something to concentrate on. So doing something stupid like this was a great idea. Stiff Luggo Fingers. Well, I did not know we recorded with Antoria guitars. I think Antoria used to be well, I assume it was the same company, but I think I'm assuming Antoria was like it was just an English or a British shop sort of thing. I'm sure when I first bought this one, I looked up. I've had this for ages. I must have this for nearly a long time. I'm sure Hank Marvin came up as well, but they were using like Italian built. They were kind of like the Vox organ company built them or something like that, badged Antoria. Whereas this has moved on to Japan, but still the same company. They're just buying the guitars anywhere else. I had that fully. That's why I was saying it. That's why I refretted the guitar. It was like I was ill. That's fine, and then it sort of went away, and then I just didn't feel right for a couple of days, and then I was out. I can't remember where I was going in town, and I was just getting so pissed off with everything, just people walking in front of me, cars, the weather, the fact that everything just like the pure rage was pure building up. I think I was just really angry that it hadn't gone. So the last few days have just been off, and then today is the first day I felt better. So I'm just going to knock myself right back out with a bottle of Bucky, or half a bottle. But I saw the flu. So by being ill, I figured I couldn't work on anyone else's guitars or do anything constructive, so I'll just mess about with what I already had. It doesn't matter if it breaks. But I think I've actually done this well enough, which I've done with quite a lot of guitars I've fixed. I remember them being broken and me having them for a couple of years broken until I worked out how to fix them, and then I fixed them. So now I pick up the guitar and I remember there being something wrong with it, but I can't remember what it was. So I think that's maybe what's going on here. This is kind of transformed. It was also, I'm so pleased I did it with, obviously I've had opportunities to refret shite guitars. It's like, is it really worth spending the amount of effort? I mean, actually putting the frets in was dead easy. It was actually you had to do all the rest of it, leveling them, and I don't know what the words are for all the things I had to do, but I had to do them. So, not bought myself another guitar this week. I just so happened to have turned one of the guitars that I kind of always loved because of what it was, but never really worked. And as I managed to get myself a new guitar. It's finger off buzz only. Oh yeah, aye. That's because I'm standing too close to the TV. I need to work out that a little bit. I think if I stood further away, it's like interference. But I shouldn't be having my. I bet you might get it's worse when I do that. Yeah. It's not an expensive tube screamer. I didn't even know I haven't really done these frets. It's like I knew there was something wrong and I just instinctively hunt it out. That one. But all around here, this guitar had someone had been what I thought someone had refretted, started refretting at the top, realised it was really difficult and thought, right, so I'm not going to do all of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bottom 4 frets. So they did the bottom 4 and the top ones, but they were huge jumbo frets that I filed down like a bastard to get them down to the same level as what I thought were the original frets. So these ones were put in terribly, whereas all the other frets weren't original, but I reckon they were put in properly. So I mean, this guitar's on its 3rd refret, so I mean, it must be good. Can't help playing this guitar. Yeah, it's sort of like humbuckers, but it shouldn't be buzzing. If it was in the centre, it is hum cancelling. Mind you. It is. I mean, hum cancelling does work. But that's rock and roll. Where would rock and roll be without a little bit of feedback? Or things that make it sound alive. I like this guitar, but it's very, very trebly when it wants to be. Still a wee bit spanky, but I need to. I've not dressed the frets yet. There's some of them, when I did the storing, some of them are like bar magnets now. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just show and tell you. Actually, my super system that I'm using today is it was running in batteries, sort of. I'm too cheap to do that. So basically, what I did was I modified my rolling cube. As I said, there's the line out. It's going into the desk, and I built a couple of pedals into the top of it. So I've got a looper and a distortion pedal before it. And it's a wee bit difficult to stamp on the looper because it's a bit high. It does run on batteries, but I'm just a cheap bastard and want to use the power supply. Aye, so that's what I think. I might be using my I think the plan was that's what I was basically going to do with the bass amp, the rolling cube, because it's a nice size, it's a good sounding amp. But what's great about using the headphone out is it's already using all the cab simulator and stuff like that. So what you're getting is pretty close to what's in it. I could shield it, Jimmy, but I don't know if I can really be bothered. Once I get my YouTube room working, I'll be not as close to a massive telly. That's a very good plan. What I have noticed with the cube is how much better it sounds standing far away from it. Like, it sounds pure huge. I was trying it in the kitchen when I was testing this out, and it sounded shit in the kitchen. It really did. I think you really need soft, non-reflective surfaces. But even just for the distortion, I'm just using the Temu tube driver, vintage distortion, vintage overdrive. And what I don't understand is how it's got so I'm using the Jazz Chorus Clean or JC Clean setting. It's got like JC Clean black panel, Brit distortion, classic rectifier, all the sort of different amp models for more distortion. All of them sound shit. None of them did that. £6 Temu pedal sounds better than Into the Jazz Chorus thing than any of the distortion things do. I tried really hard to try and find. There must be some way of tweaking it, because you've got some things to mess about with. I just didn't have one good sound. I just need one good sound. If it just had that one, that'd be fine. If I ever want to go looping, the idea of just sort of playing a wee loop, like, I don't know, in a field. I need to do that now that the summer's coming in after the winter's been. I've also put a new string on Judge Death. I might have a wee go at that one. Was that even plugged in? I might have done. If I just, I'll be a bit cheap and swap over the power supply. No, I won't. I'll just run it straight off batteries. Like a lunatic, and it's plugged in and everything, and it should be coming through. Don't play the bass pick. Hopefully that should be a better. Oh, I'll turn it back on again. I've been getting into Telecasters as well recently. This is only a couple of weeks old Telecaster. Yeah. They are in so many ways the best guitars. This one's much higher output. And I got my heating fixed, so much so I think I'm going to go and turn the heating off, because I'm actually on. Guitar to that last one. Are you playing everything at the same amp? No, that was the. I don't know. I'm unsure. That was the bass cube that I was playing the bass through. So that should have been sorta on that side, whereas the guitar should have been more on that side. Actually, I've just thought what I'm going to do there is I'm going to daisy chain the power supply between the two of them, so I don't have to run on batteries. Yeah. I mean, the guitar cube was not sounding good earlier on. It was like, and then I think running the power off it, I noticed that the power light was flashing, and thinking that those batteries have been in it at least the last 2 downloads and various JPACs and stuff like that. So I mean, they're 3 years old. So I put new ones in. I think, Ben, I think one of the things, the tricks is just like, once the idea of putting, micing it up and doing it all properly does get you the best sound if you're recording an album, but there's an awful lot of variance in that. The sort of approximate idea of having like a cabinet simulator and then just sticking it in. And then I suppose as well there'll be sound leakage coming in from here to just make it sound a bit less digital, but I mean, I just can't help but be so impressed with the bass cube particularly. It's not perfect. What I would change on the bass cube is the drum machine. It needs to have a tempo dial as well as the tap tempo. Just one more dial for tempo. It's too difficult to time it in. You just like go, oh, can we have the same just a wee bit slower, and you've got to try and tap it, but you're already, it's really difficult. I would have that in it. And in this one, the guitar one, I really feel it needs better distortion. The jazz chorus clean's amazing. The acoustic sounds actually surprisingly alright. Might need to boost the sound. It does actually sound quite acousticy. Sort of. Good enough for if you're busking. And they should have this option for using the line out, because I'm thinking in a silly situation, if you could have that, you could almost gig with the rolling bass now. If the drummer wasn't that loud, because you could use it as a monitor and then just stick that line out into whatever PA there is, give it to the sound guy there, do your stuff. And I suppose to a certain extent you could do it with a guitar. I just like the idea of, I don't know why, but the concept of having battery powered stuff is great. It means you can do it anywhere. I never go anywhere and do these things, but I've got the option to do that. I now get the option on guitar to have like a loop station set up with distortion and good sounds and a bass and nobody else to go jamming with, but I like the idea of being completely free. I did actually have to do almost the same amount of fret work on this that I've done on the Antoria as well, even though I just put the frets in the Antoria. This one is like, apparently these were, someone said they saw them for sale in Greenock at one point. I think it was just a little bit like your Jim Deacons and stuff. They weren't specifically really searching out what the best guitar to buy was. They were just looking for Fender copies and Gibson copies that they could sell for like £100 or whatever. So at the time, Japan was cheap. So, you know, we're talking about, I don't know, maybe about in mid-80s or something for this. So it's basically, it's a sort of, somebody's bought a container of white Telecasters. But they hadn't finished making it. And realising that, when I was thinking, because I mean, it costs, it's a couple of £100 for a refret anyway, isn't it? Might be more than that. And it's like, I've mind you, I managed to take the frets out of that guitar without, I was using the soldering iron to heat them up and release it and stuff like that, and then I realised that one time the soldering iron wasn't on and they were just coming out the same, so I think maybe because it had been refretted before, the frets came out really easily. Turn off the distortion pedal that's in Judge Death. Have been enjoying Judge Death again. I think I bought 5-string strings, so it's about time for me to dig out my Ibanez 5-string jazz bass type thing that's got yellow and black stripes on it and the massive pickups. I think I might put a fuzz pedal in it and sell it. I don't know if there are any Striper tribute bands kicking about, but it would, if there was, they would totally buy it. It'd be amazing. Carbonica. Oh, Mr. White, you were talking about I said it was a relic. So if it's a Carbonica, that's kind of like I can picture it. I just can't. I'm trying to zoom in on the picture in my mind of what it looks like. Is it 2 humbuckers, like sort of your, what do you call it? Almost like your TV Jones type pickups in it. Is that the Carbonica? I'm sure I've played one. I just can't remember. Ad lib music, Greenock, it could very well be, yes. See, Kenny's music's gone as well. That's just not going to be any guitar shops kicking about. It's just that the problem is, it's just that whole thing about, I was talking to someone earlier on about this, and it's like, here's a really good guitar for £150. It's fantastic, it plays brilliant, it's been all set up, it's brand new, it's fantastic. Or You can have this one that failed all the inspections. It looks the same, but it needs a lot of work to make it work. For 100, I'll take that. I'm a beginner. I'll just take that. It just doesn't work that way. You know, people would rather have one they just want as cheap as you can make it. It's like, how cheap can you make a guitar? And it's like, that's it. Oh, I want the one at 60 quid. It's like, look, when you're looking at a new guitar, it's the difference between like a £50, not that you really get them, but you know what I mean? It's like the difference between like a £100 guitar and a £150 guitar in actual build costs is like a fiver. So the one that costs 150's got like a fiver. It's only a fiver more you have to spend on the cheap one to make it good. And so there's a point where it gets too shit. And the way around that is, well, I don't know. I think Gear for Music are a really good example of how I would do it the sensible way. Not going to be worth any money. Doesn't look expensive, but and it's not expensive. It's cheap, but functional. Oh, it stays in tune. Oh, the frets have been done. Oh, the neck's not twisted. Oh, everything works. It just looks cheap, and maybe feels cheap, but it sounds fine and it plays well. Or you've got the other option where you can get it. Oh, look at all the shiny. Oh, and it's got Seymour. Oh, look at all that. Does it play good? No, it plays terribly. The post expires in 24 hours, subscribers only. Yeah, I didn't see your post. I don't really sure where the posts turn up. You did mention in a comment to me that you bought a Relic Telecaster. See, Relic to me, this isn't a Relic. I don't know if you can see how. You can't really even see. No, basically it's all cracked and it's got big chunks out it and it's been dropped and worn and all that. But it's not a Relic. This is battered. Genuine wear. There ain't been no bit of sandpaper on there unless... The only acceptable use of sandpaper on something like that in a guitar like that is if it's a jaggy bit that hurts your arm. So you just sand it so it's not jaggy anymore. But some people like their Relics. I saw a meme yesterday on Facebook and it was, oh, there's 3 Stratocasters, which is which? It's like, well, that's the standard one, it's like £1,000. And that's the Super Relic one, that's £3,000. And that's the one that got damaged in the post at 600 quid. When I thought they're all the same guitar. But that one's been damaged, whereas that one's been relicked. You know, it's like, is it genuinely worth that? Oh, you don't have it? Oh. So it's a Squire. Did you get rid of your parts caster? I got offered a parts caster off my pal Dougie the other night, and it was just, it was a Strat. See if it'd been a telly. The problem with a parts caster is it's so important who built it, you know. And it's like, I'm not saying you didn't. I would trust one that you'd built because I know you know what you're doing, but most people don't know what they're doing. And you know, you're quite a lot of the time, and any partsy kit type guitars I've bought for like a quarter of what the kit cost or something, and it's like you just have to take it to bits and basically undo somebody who didn't know what they're doing. I've actually got I've got a thin line telly. I always remember driving to Musselburgh. That was when I really realised I'd done the wrong thing for a thin line Telecaster kit. It had P90s in it and stuff like that, and I had all the bits, and it was it was in Musselburgh. So I drove to the other side of Edinburgh. It took me like an hour and 10 minutes to get a £15 guitar, and whoever it was had put the frets in hadn't realised that all the frets were different lengths. So all these were fine, and then once you got up here, they started getting to the frets that should be here, so they didn't get to the edge of the fretboard and stuff like that. So I'll maybe see if I can do something like that. I think was that a through? It might even be a through neck. I think it's binding missing, but I mean, I can maybe have a go at it. It's one of those ones that I don't want to. Like I started saying earlier on, if you're going to refret a guitar, there's no point in doing it in one that's not really going to be that good, because at least that Antoria, there was a possibility where I kind of thought that inside that was a 70s Japanese guitar, so it's going to be awesome. Like one of those surprisingly, but this is a real guitar ones. My parts caster for $400, people are wanting it but not buying. Yeah, I know, but that's it's the old problem with how do you... obviously the better equipment you've got, the better it sounds. But how much time are you spending looking for the better equipment? Or looking it up and like, oh, I'm right into distortion pedals. Are you? Yeah, totally. Is that, oh, how many? Do you play them for hours a week? No, I don't really play the guitar. I look them up on the internet and I get them and I go, oh, that's a good distortion pedal. And then I look for more distortion pedals. Playing is the important bit. Hey, Shortwave as a Relic telly. Did you buy it Relic or did you Relic yourself? But I mean, I like the Gear for Music especially. And the thing, I suppose I don't think I've ever played a Gear for Music telly, but I mean, that's kind of like the double dunter because the Gear for Music, as I said there, it's pure basic. It maybe doesn't look or feel as good, but they spent what little money they did spend, they spent it on putting the neck on straight, putting the bridge in the right place, making the frets level, all these things that actually make the guitar play and sound good, not ones that make it look good on a spec list. And a Telecaster is just basically two bits of wood nailed together with some bent metal, it's like, it's the basicest of basic. So every penny you've spent on that guitar is spent on just making it right. And there's something about, it's so rare to have a cheap telly that's not good, because it's a telly. So even if it is a pure cheap one, it's like, because it's a telly, whereas if it was a Les Paul, it's like, it doesn't seem right. Or even a Strat. I think one of the problems with the Strats is the bridge. I think a proper Strat bridge, like if you make it out of like more expensive metal and stuff, it doesn't really have a detrimental effect on the way the guitar vibrates and stuff. Whereas I think if it's made of like the really cheap shit, it doesn't help things. It kind of mutes the guitar and kind of kills it a bit. Whereas a telly bridge isn't really, it's just a piece of metal bent. So there isn't really any difference between this one and a good one or anyone. It's just, whether it's a Temu job or something, it's just a bent piece of metal. Obviously, it could be a thicker piece of metal, but it doesn't make that much difference. The telly's going to turn itself off. Oh. My Relic Parlor Titan telly. Oh, so you've actually bought Relic ones? I don't know. See, the thing is, it's like, how do you know what a worn one looks like? Unless I suppose if you're just looking at, I don't know. I mean, the first time I ever saw like a Relic guitar was in, Kenny's Music's now closed, but I'm pretty sure it was still Sound Control at the time. When I went in, I saw, and I was like, oh, no way, there's like an old original 50s Telecaster. That's amazing. Oh, no way, I've never seen like an original one. Wow. And then you look up and it was like, 2015 brand new. And it's like, what? Then suddenly everything that made it cool and old just went away. And it was like, all right, it's made to look like that. That was my first. Knoxville Select Legacy guitar by Gear for Music, blonde. That sounds alright. I was actually thinking about it. I had no, it was a Fasley I was thinking of. Roasted maple neck with rust added. The Parlor was the display at NAMM. I don't know, but the thing is, you just put on. Can you not just put on like? I remember seeing this. Was it it was an Anderton. It was the Fender Highway 1 series, and they had a very thin finish. They were, I think they were $100 cheaper or something like that, but they just kind of like been lightly stained. And the idea was, it's like, well, after you played that, after you gigged that, 50 times, it's going to start looking all beat up and great. And it was like, so that was like a sort of do-it-yourself relicking by not putting very much finish on it. Because I mean, it's like you're looking at these guitars, these relics, and it's like that guitar there was 1973, and it ain't been looked after. But that's what a poly finish looks like after 53 years or whatever it is. It's like it's pretty much still looks new. So whether the nitro thing's actually a good thing, I mean, that's what really amazed me. I always thought that my the reason my EBO, which was my oldest guitar, for a lot of time, 1968 EBO. It was just so old. So old. And then it's like, actually, we look at it and it's like, this guitar's only like 3 or 4 years newer than it. And it's like, it's still old and cool, but it's not as old as that. The same with that, the Les Paul. What's it, 74 or something like that? That's the same year as this. It looks fucking 30 years older than this because Polly doesn't rot, basically. I actually had a bit of a horrible experience earlier on. I took my Schecter bass out of its case and it had started to go mouldy. Like, no, something to do with the nitro. It was kind of mold. I gave it a wipe and it all came off, but I'm glad I didn't have to keep my stuff in that storage container any longer than I had to. That they weren't there for very long, but that's the difference. It's like a guitar like this will survive. Whereas if you've got one that's got the nitro on it, it might not. It won't be able to handle the fact that it's been damp in there, or it's been really hot or really cold. Palir, Palir, is not a good sounding name. It doesn't look nice to say it. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's not. You know, some words are just, I don't know, they exude power or cool, and it's like Palir doesn't. I don't know why not. I remember Nam, yeah, totally. I've never been. I don't know. I think would it be fun to go to? I mean, there's a Birmingham music show, kind of. I don't know. I mean, it's like, how interested in those sort of guitars are there? I'd be interested to go and see. I don't know. I've kind of got a wee thing. I find, this Yazuki infinitely more interesting than anything you can buy in a shop in Glasgow just now. It's like looking at them and it's like, okay, they're quite cool and stuff and there's better guitars, and ones that would obviously swap for it because they're tens of thousands of pounds, but they're not that interesting. This is like, Yazuki, whoa, you know what I mean? It's exciting. I'm neutral in relic finishing. I don't care as long as it's factory finish. I don't know. The thing that put me off a bit one time was it's the price of them. So look, I remember it was Scott the Bastard was in Guitar, and they were looking at Zap here. Look at that. I think it was a Strat, like a red sort of Strat with it was all worn here and stuff like that. I was up here, it was like $3,000 or $4,000. Yeah, and it's like, how much cheaper is it? The fact you just look at the one next to it, which is blue and is exactly the same wear pattern, and it's like, oh. And there was like 3 of them that were different colours, but they were exactly the same. And you're like, oh no. I mean, I suppose you can't just chuck them down the stairs or something like that because you might damage. You've got to be very specific about what bits you damage. You know what I mean? You can't just drop it and put big dents in the neck. That's not relict. It's like, no, it is. If it's got dents all over the body, it should have dents all over the neck. Do you get, folk? It's always round about the 3rd fret where you can feel it where it's been dropped against an amp or something, put a big dink in it. I take it you don't get that as a relic in anything. Hello down in Wang Tong. The 75th of the 30s. I don't know, but a shortwave you're talking about, it's like, I was just saying there, like, it's like £1,000 for an American Strat and it's £3,000 for the relic one. Did you pay 3 times as much for your Gear for Music one, or was it like an extra 20 quid or an extra 10 quid? In which case, that's fine. 800 extra for a Hendry record. There you go. I think there's more to it like that. I don't know, but I mean, to me, I suppose, maybe I've just had, most of my guitars are all beat up. I don't really have, I've got a couple that are, well, new. Well, I've built a few sort of thing, but I don't really, there's always that worry. I've never had, the last new guitar I bought was, we can't be including, when I was in China buying guitars over there. They don't count as new guitars. They weren't for me, although a couple of them were. You know what I mean? I think it was my 12-string acoustic, which I think was probably in about 2000 and something, early something. Good Relican looks well used. Bad Relican looks abused, but it sort of does. But it kind of looks, I think there's a skill to it. I think the way to do it is to do it yourself. Mind you, if they're going to charge you 800 quid for it, it's just the idea of following a pattern. I mean, should you not be really like get yourself like a Freddy Krueger type glove and have a sandpaper? You know what was it? You know the things that Rob Halford wears. You know the sort of metal studded thing. Have one of them on your arm, and use a metal pick, and then just Pete Townsend windmill. Is that not how you should be doing it? Player grade. I'm good at putting it. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually looking at. Wee bit of chunk, wee bit of nicks there. No cracks in the neck pocket. I would say this. The only thing in this that doesn't look new is the bridge, but this is the one that's got the ashtray on it. So this bridge is not a polished metal. This is a sort of like in the back of your amp type thing. It's just steel plate. That's why it looks like that. It's meant to be covered up with a big shiny thing. But I mean, I would almost go for this being mint condition. Apart from that wee chip. Actually, that wee chip was in the photos on the internet. So I do have some guitars in good nick. Player grade after the setup. Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I was pretty brutal. Used to do it with that Antoria. Like, see when we were talking about doing the frets. See if someone had said, here's my Gibson Les Paul. I want you to refret it. No. See, because it was mine. But see if someone said, here's my £50 Squire, I want you to refret it. How good's it going to be at the end? I'm going to have to charge it. It's going to, it's going to be 150 quid. Is the guitar going to be worth more than that at the end of it? That's where it comes in with these things, but that's where it comes in with something like that Antoria. It's probably not worth any more now that it's been refretted because people just want it because it's cool. I'll just buy it. It doesn't work like that. I'm not going to pay an extra £100 for it. You've got an actual 63 telly. Wow. I've never imagined such a thing. I don't know what it'll be like. I mean, I think age definitely does something to guitars. This, even though, as I just said there, it looks pretty much new, you can tell it's totally not. You can tell it's 40 years old or something like that. You know, it's not. Even it's not. It's how do I say? It's not Samick. You can. You're not gonna. You don't play this guitar and go, "Oh, is this a Samick?" No, you know it isn't. Like all guitars after a bit. When did they start getting good? Sort of 88. They were definitely modern guitars by 88. I think maybe 80. Hondo still made cheapies, but they did make like the Fame series and stuff like that, which is basically what we are buying now as anything above sort of 400 quid up to £1,000. That's basically what Hondo and Samick are still making. I kind of forget what my point was. I get for drinking Bucky and dribbling. Where's Kit Kats anyway, the dick? I love pre-83 guitars. Was there a change in 83? I don't know. They do still kind of make this guitar though. It's like, see my FGN Boundary. I think they actually stopped making it like a couple of years ago now. This whole idea of making the budget one, I don't mind a budget telly. It doesn't need to have expensive parts if they're, as long as they're decent. Yeah, you said you've got a 63, but a pre-83 is like, I don't know. But I think, I mean, it comes down to orders of magnitude. You know, it's like, I don't think, I mean, I know this works for everything else, but I don't think even maybe a 63 telly is going to be a bit different. But in like a modern, anything since the 80s Fender telly, is none of them are 10 times better than this, because there isn't a guitar that's a telly that's 10 times better. Maybe one that's significantly better, but not 10 times, and there's plenty that are more than 10 times the price. The law of diminishing returns, isn't it? Completely different neck on this one. But it must be. I've noticed that my Washburn Facebook page, the Golden Era, is really, really busy just now. I think Washburn might have just got expensive. It must be difficult for those of a certain age, as in older than me, who remember seeing a lot of this stuff cheaper. Because I mean, not real. I remember American Strats, 70s Strats being like 400 quid. This is before the internet, though. You know what I mean? But I mean, I was going to buy a Strat at one point because they weren't common. This we're talking about mid-90s. I could get an old Strat for not that much money because nobody wanted Strats because they weren't cool. And 70s Les Pauls and stuff were not worth a lot of money. I remember in Victor Morris, they had a Gibson Les Paul recording for years and years. They had this Mass Sovtech for years as well at 130 quid for at least a couple of years, until they dropped it to 50 quid and I bought it. But the Les Paul recording, I think it was 249. It might have been 349 for a Gibson Les Paul recording. An original 1972 or 3, whatever it was. And it was in that shop for years, and I kept looking at it. You looked at it, big stupid pickups, and it was like, I don't really like Les Pauls. And it was like, I mean, now they're worth $5,000 or something. So I should have bought that. It was a shop, you know what I mean? And nobody bought it. It used to be, back in the day, it was like, oh, some Les Pauls and some vendors were worth a lot of money. Like if it was a good one, or you've got a good 60s telly, wow, that's worth a lot of money. But you got shit ones that were not so good ones. And then as it got on, by the time I was started playing guitar, basically any pre-CBS Fender is fucking amazing, worth hundreds of money. Even though 10 years before that, some of them were amazing and the rest of them were a bit shit. You know what I mean? It's like, and the same thing happened with Gibson as well. And then even then it came down to nobody wanted the 70s Gibsons and the 70s Fenders in the 90s because they were shit. And then now they're not shit anymore. Now they're too easy. I've seen Les Pauls for like $5,000 and shit like that. And it's like, okay. Yeah. I'm about to move telly. I think I'm going to go. I need to put strings on the black one. It's got a really thin neck. This has got a Strat neck on it, actually, now I think about it. Yeah, this is a Strat neck, that's what it is. I think this guitar's got to the level of, if you were even the most pro and snobbish of professional musician, we're having a jam, I've got a telly there, you want to play that? And they play this, like that. Yep, that's fine. No electric guitar's worth all those thousands. Well, not as a guitar. I get it. I got 63, 72, 73, 81, 83, 68 Paisley. A 22 custom shot. It's not real 68. A 60 for yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're there when. Were these bought recently, or were these bought for thousands of pounds a pop? I'm just at the point of, I mean, I have sold a few guitars at prices that I would never pay for a guitar. Not, obviously I've spent thousands of pounds on guitars, you know. I just don't have half a dozen, you know. But no, there's just unless. But I mean, I don't know. See, I was looking at it again. I think I've seen it before, but there's someone just put up on Facebook Marketplace 1969 Gibson SG Special, pretty much all original, 2P90s and all that, and it's like £2,000. And to me, that doesn't seem like a bad buy when it's going to cost you £2,000 for a new one that's been made to look like an old one. This is an actual. There is a thing that no matter what you do to a guitar, you can't make it 50 years old. You can buy a 50-year-old guitar and there's something about them that's the same. I mean, it's the same with, this is a 1973 guitar. Not saying that it's the same as that 73 Gibson, but there's the aura, there's a thing about it that it's got the same as the Gibson, if you know what I mean. All bargains pre-COVID. Victor 80s is an 80s Strat from Aria worth much? It depends what it says on the headstock, I think. I don't know. I mean, is it? Yeah, I mean, yes, it might be. It depends if it's good or not. It's like, I think they did Aria Pro 2s, I think. Hey, Aunt Wales, how's it going? Oh, it's my Yazuki. Yeah, no, this is my second Telecaster of the evening. I don't know if it's but the Aria, I'd not seen very many of them. They tended to, I think, sit a little bit with like Grecos and Tokais for me, where you could look at it and even the Ibanez version of that Antoria, you know, they are thousands of pounds, but that's the same guitar. Not very similar. It's exactly the same guitar as the Ibanez version, apart from it was Antoria that bought it from the factory, from Fujigen, not Ibanez, so it says Antoria in the headstock. I would always go for that, and I feel that Aria Pro, or maybe I'll bet you could probably buy the same guitar with Yazuki on the headstock. Well, it's not like, oh, it's the same guitar. No, it's the fucking same guitar. It's like it came off the assembly line just before it, but it got a different badge put on it. Oh. They weren't expensive, but the mistakes I made along the way were whilst learning. You have to pay for your education. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I suppose I get that nasty fright about selling my Aria Pro bass when I shouldn't have years ago, and ever since then I've always been very careful about not selling things that I definitely didn't want to sell. I did get that back, but I've never regretted selling any guitar since then because I've always been super fucking... Aria Strat sold for over $1,000 back then. They were worth it. I have one. Well, there you go. You didn't know you had an Aria Strat, Mr. Whitstick. Your week off went, how'd you go on? Greco are superb. But I mean, again, Stevie, it's like Greco, yes, and you probably don't get cheap Greco. You do actually get cheap Grecos. I can tell you, because I've nearly bought a couple of them. I can tell you how you get a cheap Greco. It's got to be a really unusual shape. You'll not get a cheap Greco Les Paul or Strat or Telly. No. If you might get an odd shape Flying V. I nearly bought a Greco. It was like a Flying V, but it was streamlined and pointier, so it was very 80s. And I've also seen one that was kind of like a PRS, but just white, very 80s. They were, £200-300. Just because, but I mean, at the same price and the same catalogue, you could buy a Telecaster for the same amount of money, which is now worth $1,000. You know what I mean? But yeah, Greco. But again, they don't make. Greco actually make anything. It's Fujigen that make it. They're just like a holdings company, same as Ibanez. Ibanez haven't made guitars since the 60s. They don't make guitars. They design them and they get other factories to build them. I think most of them are away. Was it a fucking gear magnet again? Oh god. Greco device, is that the ones I'm talking about? That was the ones that are sort of very 80s, very of the year. You look at it and go, yeah, that's from 1987. Yeah, totally from 1987. You can just tell, it's like they definitely have an era. Obviously you don't get that anymore. Guitars are just like fucking, what's that? Well, it's a fucking white Telecaster. You've been able to buy this guitar ever since it came out basically exactly the same. What's different? You're looking at it going, well, it's got a bullet truss rod. That makes it 70s. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, no, so I don't have it. I mean, actually, I was looking at the one that almost got the refret was my Tokai. Again, Tokai. Don't buy Tokais because people know what they are, so they're really expensive. The exception would be, again, you could, if you were going to pick up a Tokai, you could probably pick up one with a pointy headstock, and like it's a strap, but it's got, you know, it's got no pick guard. It's got the 3 switches, and it's pointy somehow, and it's got an unfashionable one, even though it's a great guitar. But my Tokai, it needs a refret. I actually bought it with. I bought my Washburn Eagle from a guy down somewhere near Nottingham, I think. And Wayne went and picked it up for me, and I bought the Falcon off from 6 months earlier. And he said, right, I'm ready to sell the Eagle, and it was like, okay. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, pure haggling with him. He was like, no, I need that, but I'll give you a Black Star amp with it. So my first ever Black Star ID core came with the Falcon, and I told Wayne just to stick it on eBay, and he got 80 quid for it because they were just out. So basically I got the money back, and the guy said, I'm going to give you a piece of shit Tokai free. I was like, all right. He said he got it in cash converters for 50 quid, and he's had a go at trying. The frets were fucked, but it's polycarbonate with a graphite neck, but it's just a Strat. I think it's an HSS Strat with maybe only 2 knobs, but it's full on Strat shape. Fernandez Function, or the Fernandez equivalent. I got a very sexy purple pink sparkle Fernandez Function Super Strat. Wasn't hellishly expensive. I think is my thingy not is that a Function? No, it's I've got a Fernandez limited edition, which is a very 1987 bass. It's actually a really good bass. I've got it. Jen painted it up. It was a horrible colour, so Jen painted it in a sort of Black Sabbath purple tartan. And it's just not right sounding for Black Sabbath. It's really annoying. It looks totally amazing. It's amazing to play, but it's kind of like a shredder's bass, if there is such a thing. It's got a really thin neck. It's like the neck's thin this way. Like the string spacing's really close together, so it's like a guitar neck, but it's got a full-size P-bass body. It's fucking amazing, but it's really strange. Doesn't really work for Sabbath. Mr. Whitestick, I want to see tuners and strings on every single one of those tuners. The Panty thing. Used to have a nice Tokai Ebony SG, think I sold it for 80 quid or something. Yeah, I know, but these things. It's just difficult. It's difficult. It's like, there used to be, was that back in the day when you didn't have hundreds of guitars? I don't think anyone did. You know, even like people would have a guitar. I mean, I'm still occasionally buying them off people who've, you know, played the guitar for 20 years, been in bands and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's my guitar there, all right, aye. They've got one. They've maybe got an acoustic as well, or an acoustic. I mean, it was quite common for a lot of folk back, even just going back 20 years or whatever it is, they would have like a couple of guitars. They would have an acoustic, probably the acoustic they got when they were started, so like £150 acoustic, and then they would have a similar sort of Squire or an Epiphone Les Paul Squire Strat type thing, and then the third guitar they had would be, if they were mainly an acoustic player, they would have bought a reasonably expensive, talking £500 acoustic guitar, or if they were more into electric guitar, they would have a £500 guitar. So they would have their main guitar, their £500 acoustic or electric, and then one of each of the other, and that was kind of it. And it was just, and then they would maybe occasionally have broken ones and shit like that, but it wasn't common to have piles of them, whereas now it's too easy to accumulate. There's too many. It's too easy to get them. It's too easy to look them up and find them on the internet, and even when you, I don't know. The Quest Attack is an absolute peach. It's a good setup with those MMK45s. I've had the MMK45 sounding great, and I've also had them looking shit, sounding bad. They're very direct sounding. They're very, very high output, which if you're using distortion and stuff, they're fucking great. But I don't know. I like I'm all about the low output now. Let's look at low output. But yes, actually, see, I'm not really sure about the MMK45 pickups either, because I mean I've had several different versions of the same pickup that is called that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It's kind of not just the. It's like the base plates they had. I don't know, because I've had the MMK45 and sometimes they've got like, looks like a DiMarzio Super Distortion with the hex poles, and sometimes it's not. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. Now I've done refrets, maybe I should be trying pickup winding. It just doesn't sound like that much fun. I just wonder how good it's going to be. Because one of those things, like, see, the idea of building a guitar sound dead difficult and shit. I made that, was it the thing that I made first? No, it was either the Malcocaster Telecaster. My pal he'd taken the tuners off the neck of, I think it was it was one of those horrible orangey necks. Was it a vintage? I don't know, I think it might have been a vintage. And the headstock was chipped, like, in next to one of the tuners, so it looked terrible. So he bought a new neck and he put the other one in the bin. So I took it out the bin and was like, right, I didn't have anything to put it on because I didn't have big piles of guitars at the time. And then I just cut a joist out, or stuck two joists together, cut out a Telecaster shape very, very roughly with a jigsaw, and then just bolt it together just for a laugh in an afternoon, you know what I mean? And nailed a pickup into the thing, and I had a Tele bridge, and I made and it was like, immediately it was like, actually, this plays, what the fuck? Then a couple hours later, this is really good, what the fuck? That's all it is. It's taken me 3 hours to make a guitar from nothing. Well, obviously I already had the neck, and you start going, all right, maybe it is actually worth it. Put the effort in. It's like the idea of spending, it must be so disheartening when you're making these kits, because I've bought a few of them. These people who buy a guitar kit and they spend months trying to get the Gibson Les Paul finished to look like Slash's one, and then at some point, after hours and hours and hours and hundreds of pounds of paint, they've just given up and decided to try and build the guitar, and they've put the neck in the wrong place, and the pickups are, and it's just shit, and it's like, it must be absolutely crushing knowing that you spent a couple £100 on a kit, a couple £100 on paint, a couple £100 on expensive parts, and at the end you had a guitar that was shit that you sold to me for £100. It must be pure disheartening. So maybe just aim really fucking low. Expect it to be shit. Like that refret thing, I did not expect that to work. I was just thinking, well, worst case scenario, I take all the frets out and then I take it in a shop. But even then, I don't have that much of attachment. If I'm going to spend £250, I'm not going to be fucking, I'll just buy another guitar. This didn't cost that. This is another one. Yeah. Oh. No guitar players in your zone? I bet you there are, Mr. Whitesnake. Pitcard is on the way to also a Veritone. We've got to go for a Gilmore switch, Veritone and Master Volume, and tone with those coil switches for the shits and giggles. Well, you've got to start off doing that. I mean, I've done it. I've told this story many times. It was when it started getting silly was my BC Rich Mockingbird, which had 2 humbuckers, and it just had like, I don't know, like a volume, 2 volumes, and a tone, and a 3-way switch. But the cavity on the back, so basically it could have had a cavity that size, but the cavity was that size. It was the one that takes all the switches, like, I was like, right, here we go. So I put it in as, so I moved the pickup slightly apart, angle grinded out the middle, managed to get another BC Rich matching pickup. So I had 3 humbuckers, and then I had a line of knobs, and then as many switches as I wanted. So I had 3 humbuckers, right? 3 volume controls, and a master tone. 3 on-off phase switches, 1 for each pickup. 3 single coil humbucker parallel wired switches, and a Veritone. And although it worked, it was so much effort to switch. You spent more time on the guitar. I mean, what it could do was fucking, but you could make it sound like a synthesizer or an acoustic or a bass or anything, but you had to know what you were doing. But fidgeting with all this shit, and I'd basically I spent more time clicking switches. So now my thing is to have it as easy to operate as possible. So I like the idea of here's my guitar, it's got crazy wiring. What's the crazy wiring? Press this switch, that's the crazy wiring, and then you press that switch and it's back to normal. Just to try and keep it. It's also the problem with explaining it. I was trying to explain to Jen earlier on what I was doing with the... all I'm basically doing is, see when you plug headphones into your amp or your hi-fi, it disconnects the speakers because you're listening to headphones. That's all I need to do, was it not to do that, but I don't... Trying to explain that takes 10 minutes and it just gets more and more complicated, you know, because that means I can take the headphone socket, stick it into the computer, so the computer's recording through the headphone socket, that's fine, but I don't need to be listening through the computer, I can just hear the speaker on the front of the amp because the speaker's still on. Dead easy. But go for it. Just the more things you do, the more likely there are to be mistakes as well. But I mean, it's my advice, which is what I didn't do with that Mockingbird, is whatever you do, you're kind of doing it on the scratch plate, so it's going to be reversible. So if it all, you put all that shit in and it's all crazy, you know, you can always take those parts off. You still have the parts, and then you can just put a scratch plate on with less on it. Are old guitars harder to get the screws off, being old and stuck? Victor, I do a lot of work on guitars, and it's like, my favourite guitars are Japanese ones, right? Because they're just built better. The thing that's also very true about this is, see, working on these things, it's so much easier because they've been better built. So it's easier to work on a 40 or 50-year-old Japanese guitar than it is to work on a brand new Squier. Because, no, they're not, it's not difficult to get the screws out and all that, no, not if it's a good one. Cheap ones, aye. I like simple wiring. I just like the idea of taking a 15 guitar. Oh yeah, no, I mean, would I go back and undo what I did with that BC Rich? No, I wouldn't. I did undo it eventually. I did go back and undo it, but I would still have done it. You have to do it to know. You have to go too far. You know, you have to drink a whole bottle of Bucky to realise that you only want to drink half a bottle of Bucky. That's the way it works. But yeah, no, go for it. And the thing is, what you'll do is what I did as well. See, when you're arsing about with all your multitudes of switches and stuff, you'll find that some sounds are ones that are really quite different and the ones you like. And some of the sounds that you tend to go to are the normal ones, you know, just bridge humbucker. Always like that. Sort of, I always end up with a sort of single coil in the neck and a single coil in the bridge. I like that sound and all that. You'll end up, so you're going to have a guitar that does 150 sounds, and there'll be half a dozen that you'll be aiming for all the time, the ones that are the most different and the most unique sounding. Then, when you build another guitar, just put those half dozen in it. Work out which ones it is that you like and are a bit different and put that in. You don't need to have 20 different variations of a humbucker if you just get the two that are different. Body and neck are nice material. The neck particularly has a nice bit of maple on it. Definitely good bones. This needs a fret ends filing. I will go for it. Can I get new parts for a Western Concorde? You spelt it wrong, but you spelt it wrong differently than you would normally spell it as well. I would always put an E on the end. It's just CONCORD. A pickup switch, just a pickup switch. You'll not, and if you've still got the old switch, the Matsumoku switch has got like a flat topped screw in top on it. You'll not be able to get one of them, but the actual switch you'll be able to get one, no problem. Gotoh probably still make exactly the same switch, but they don't make the flat top screw in top. I don't have a Matsumoku guitar sitting here that's got one on it, but they are cool as fuck. If you've still got that, you can reuse it on your new switch. But there's not really anything unreplaceable. Even a Western Concorde, it's got Gotoh tuners, so you can basically buy Gotoh tuners for it, or all copies of them. There should be no problem with any parts on a Westone being odd shapes. And at the bridge, if it's the Concorde I've got, it's a Concorde H2, has like a strap bridge, no problem. If it's got one of these Bend Masters, I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure they're strap bridge or hardtail. You might have to buy another hardtail. No, you can get bits for it. You can make it work. Don't worry about it. Worked out the whole bill's going to cost about 30p per switching combination. Well, That is one way of looking at it. Aye. No, it's fun. It's like, why not? I mean, the thing is as well, I suppose if you're talking about getting used to doing wiring and stuff like that, wiring up that, and then it's kind of already, wiring up that and problem solving it, not looking up how to do it or getting me to help you or something, working out how to solve the problems yourself and wiring that up. It's probably the same as wiring 50 normal guitars. I get that thing, when it's like people who wire guitars and it's like, I wired guitars for 50 years and stuff like that, right? Oh, see if you did this, and they're just like, is that Strat doesn't do that. No, but if you take that signal there and you do, they just, look, mate, I've been wiring guitars for 50 years. I can wire Strats, I can wire Tellys, and I can wire Gibsons. Don't give me your fucking shit with other things. No, just you just know a system, whereas they don't actually understand how it works. Whereas if you actually understand how it works, then you end up being me and doing stupid stuff. I need to switch back onto my stupid stuff guitar, which I still think is the first guitar ever to be wired this way. The first guitar that was ever attempted to be wired this way was a few years ago when I attempted to wire it this way and got it the wrong way around. This one! Yay! But this was out of necessity. I would not have put a middle humbucker in this had it not already had a hole that I needed to fill. Exactly worth money for the fun. No, totally. I bet it's like, you do get a bit, it's like having these mad ideas. It's like, it's not a well tapped into thing. It's not like writing songs where you've got to find a chord sequence that's never been done. Fuck all people know about guitar wiring. I mean, it's like, I don't know why I seem to have a knack for understanding how it works and being able to do things outside the box. I mean, even the idea of, this one with the humbucker in the middle, has everyone ever done that? Has everyone ever decided, we'll just have 2 single coils, which gives you the full Telecaster range on the 3-way pickup selector? But then obviously, if with push pulls, you can make them both into humbuckers using a humbucker in the middle, but using half of it. I don't think anyone's ever done that, but it makes sense. So a Fender, that's just a parts caster. You can't call them parts casters. Yeah, I've got a little bit of forced fame up here. It's actually someone's trying to sell one of my guitars. It's fucking the best swirl paint job I ever did. I only want 125 quid for it, which is what I sold it for. So I would just buy Mad Malco. It'd be a guitar by Mad Malco. I mean, when it comes down to did you build it? If I basically bought a Squire Strat and all I did was set it up and sell it, I wouldn't say I'd built it. If I took another neck off another guitar and put a pedal in it or did crazy, I would say I built it. I mean, it depends how much time it is. Weston Concords are expensive. No, they spelled it wrong. It's just CONCORD. Are expensive to buy into. Are they? I don't know. I mean, depends what kind of conditions it's in. The one I got, I paid 20 quid for mine. It's Jakey Blues. I'm better. Definitely. Recovering. Pete Townsend, Les Paul, does this? Oh, but okay, yeah. But then I'm not saying necessarily because Westone, not the No, it wasn't a Concorde. The same year that I think Westone were the first, I think it's 1983, the first major guitar brand to do an HSS or an HSH guitar. I think it was Westone in 1983, and they also did. There was like it wasn't a Thunder, but it was a Thunder shape, and it was an SHS. They did an SHS the same year they came out with the HSH. I think Westone did that first. People have got up here. No. Charvel had that in but that was a handmade American guitar. That's what I'm talking about, a factory guitar. You know what I mean? Not a one-off. When Glacier invented the Nashville telly, he put stamp humbuckers in the middle, but he only wired the top coil. Right. What's the point of using a stacked humbucker then? Oh, is that be to get the because you didn't get reverse wound pickups? Maybe. I don't know. The thing about the problem with the telly is the middle sound is amazing. I want that middle sound. I want neck and bridge together. Whereas in Nashville, you don't get that, do you? You get like single coil and then these two, and then the middle pickup on its own, and these two, and so it's like, for me, if I could only have one sound on the telly, it would be both single coils. I actually remember doing an amazing Strat. My pal Cameron bought it off me. I think I called it the Milky Bar Strat. It was actually kind of like a colour like this. It was a DeVille, and it had a scratch plate. I had a blank scratch plate, so I could put whatever I wanted in it. I put a humbucker in the bridge and a single coil in the neck and a volume control and a switch, and that switch gave you two sounds. One of them was humbucker in the bridge and the other one was outside coil, so you had two sounds, rock and the best sound in a Strat or a telly. And it was just like, I was really pleased with that. I'm really sorry I sold that, actually. It was a really good guitar. I'm going to do that again. So it was like an HS, but the switch, basically you could only have two sounds, but it was just two pure useful sounds. Amazing. You can use it as a dummy coil to make all the pickups uncancelling. You're not talking about using it as a dummy coil, you're talking about just wiring it in. Yeah, you could. I've kind of done that with what the idea with the Buckycaster there. So basically, the three red pickup, well, that's okay. The Invader pickup's the other way around. So the three red pickups, oh no, they're not in this one, are they? Yeah, but that was the idea. So you can bring in, basically, you've got all the Strat sounds, and you've got a switch that turns on that, which turns all the 5 Strat sounds into a humbucker using the black pickup as an extra one. I don't know. The thing with these things is, you hear about people doing it, but it never gets into the mass market. Really enjoyed the video on this telly. My mate had a telly with 3 Hot Rails on it once. So my tone options. Yeah, it's just a case of finding the right ones, though. Yeah. It's like mathematically, I can put. I've done 126 sounds in a Strat one time, and it's like, yeah, there were 126 electrically different sounds, but not. Obviously, if you were to pick the most extreme, there's a lot in the middle. You know what I mean? You get sound A and sound X. There's a lot of sounds in the middle that are it's just kind of like going on a graph between the two. Would you not? I don't know. Yeah. What does it mean if a 3 toggle switch, only 1 or 2 makes a sound when switched into position? It probably means that does it make a different sound in the middle? Probably means one of the pickups isn't working. Oh, if you're talking about the West Tone Thunder, if you have, before you do anything, go to, I don't want to say go to Halfords, go to eBay or Temu and buy electrical contact cleaner. Comes in an aerosol can like WD-40, but don't use WD-40. Although WD-40 do make electrical contact cleaner, which I think is a fucking don't, because you don't want to put WD-40 in it. It does the opposite. That's going to put grease all over all the bits. You want to fucking clean all the dirt off. So you want contact cleaner. Scoosh it in, give it a wiggle, and I'm going to say 90% of the time it fixes a dodgy pickup selector. And the other 10%, it's a broken switch or the pickups come off. You know what I mean? Yeah, what I'm saying there is that when I was saying in position 1 or 2, is it the same sound in position 1 and 2? Or is it... It also could be... It depends if it's a West Tone, it'll probably have it's like a sealed box with a switch on it. If you've got one like an older one, or the one that's like a leaf switch, sometimes it can be bent. You can actually bend the inside of the switch. I don't like that. Yeah, Pete Townsend is a shame in it. I don't know what to think. What are the chances my guitar will get dented or something if I take it to a fixer? I don't know, what is it? You're just trying to spray it straight into the top of the switch. Don't give up at it. I mean, you gotta think. I mean, it's like if you understand what the switch is, right? So in the West Tone Thunder, you're going to have a box with a toggle on the top, and there's 3 terminals on the bottom, right? 1, 2, and 3. One of them you put the bridge pickup on. The other one on the outside you put the neck pickup on, and the terminal in the middle goes to the output. That's all it does. So there's nothing really confusing. Basically all that pickup does, all the switch does, is it either chooses the left one, or if it's in the middle, it lets both of them through, or if it chooses the right one. That's all it does. Any 3-way toggle switch will do it. Don't be buying a wee toggle switch, but any pickup selector switch will do it, and just have a go at it. I don't know what the chances are. I don't know. It depends how reputable the fixer is. I mean, I know that Scott the Bastard, the reason he first met me was he came round. He wanted me to wire something frivolous. I can't remember what it was. So I did that, no problem. Gave it back to him. The next time he was like, I want you to look at this. He's like, what do you think of this? I was like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, you don't know what that is. I was like, yeah, it's a Fender Stratocaster. A 1969 Fender Stratocaster, which serial number in black, custom black, which was an expensive one, which serial numbers between Hendrix's one and Dave Gilmour's one, like that, right? And you want me to wire it? Why are you taking it into the shops? Is that, you don't trust the shops? They wouldn't look at it, whereas it had 3 hot rails in it. And I'm like, fuck it. So yeah, it depends. You just need to find somebody that you trust, I suppose. And it was up here, and I just got, how the fuck? You trust me, but you don't trust any of the shops in town? I don't even fucking know you. And it's like, I've seen your videos, I know what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Spray it on the ventilators, yes. Yeah, the problem with James Burton's was I don't like his custom guitar. He's got like it's like a 3 EMG single coils thing. Yeah. There's not a way. There should be. There is if you buy a special switch. I would love I've kind of done it, have I? No, I haven't. What I want is like, right, you've got a Strat or an HSH. An HSH would be fine. Either way, so you've got either a humbucker on either end or a single coil on either end, right? In positions 2 and 4, you've got what we'd normally think of as positions 2 and 4. In the middle, I don't want that shitty middle pickup on its own. I want the outside 2 coils. So I want everything on a 5-way switch to be the same, apart from on the middle position. I want middle position Telecaster. Even if it's humbuckers, I want them automatic coil split. There is no way of doing that with any sort of normal switch, although I really want to do that. That would be my favourite wiring. One of my favourite wirings was 2 humbucker guitar, 3-way switch. In the middle position, hum cancelling coils, both guitars, both pickups. So basically, Telecaster middle position, SG or Les Paul neck and bridge. That's what I like. Is there a difference between coil splitting and coil tapping? Yes, there is. It's whenever anyone says coil tapping, they always mean coil splitting. Right up to the very point of I have come across 2 guitars in the 2,000 guitars I've gone through that have coil taps. Coil taps do exist. Coil splits is, there's a humbucker. You split it so you only hear one half of it, which basically turns it into a single coil, which is often called coil taps. Even in the Epiphone thing, it says it's a coil tap. That's not what a coil tap is. A coil tap is, if you imagine, here's your single coil pickup, right? So you wind it, I think it's 10,000 winds is normal for a pickup, right? So you wind it 8,000 times, and then you take a wee tab off, a wee solder tab, and then you wind it another 3,000 times to make it the 10. And then, so if you're running the 10,000 winds, which is normal pickup, if you tap it, you're cancelling out some of the actual coil to make it only 3/4 as powerful. That's a tap. You know, you're taking one pickup and tapping it. Not EMG lace sensor, you're quite right, yes. You can see what the problem, but I was thinking, I was looking at it as a guitar I've got there with the EMGs in it. Yeah. I've actually ordered off Temu an HSS pick guard for that. That has DiMarzio tone zone. I can't remember. They're all stacked high output single coils. And I fucking don't like them at all. So my next attempt, which might have a similar sort of thing, I mean, there's no bastard. I think that's what lace sensors, aren't they? I've got 2 lace sensors, and I've got a white Scholler humbucker, so I've got an HSS. I'm going to try that and see if I like it. I might not like it. I don't like it. The pink paisley tail is nice. I've always wanted, but that's what I searched so hard in China to try and get one, and they did do them, but they didn't look anything like good. It didn't look like the James Burton one. No, I want one of them. Yeah, Wales, you probably described it better than I have. Yeah, no, the first time ever, the only guitar I've got with coil taps is my Yamaha SC400s, which doesn't have coil taps, but the SC600 does. And I looked at it, when I bought it, I looked at it, and inside there was an extra tab on it. So you get the in and the out of the pickup, and there's another tab. So I just put that to a switch. That's when I realised that low output pickups are the thing. It's fucking low all the way. I don't want hot pickups. I don't want powerful pickups. I want them jangly and bright. Split as side by side, tap as coils on top of one another. Sort of. But it's not coils on top of each other because it's just the same coil that you actually tap into. Like before you get to the end of it. You know, it's like, here's the start, here's the finish. You break into it and add it and short circuit it. Because you can still coil split a stacked humbucker. Yeah, that's not the same thing because you're actually changing it from a humbucker. All you're doing is lowering the output. If I may say, the middle position gets very little love from me. The best middle position I've got is on the JPAX RG, where I've got 3 humbuckers. So I've got triple auto coil splits in that. So basically all it's got is a volume and a tone and a 5-way switch and 3 humbuckers. So you get humbucker, bridge pickup split and middle pickup split. Humbucker in the middle pickup split, neck pickup split, and then neck humbucker. So you get the 3 humbuckers and 1, 3 and 5 and 2 and 4 in the middle. That's the best middle position I've ever come across using it. It was I'd heard more than that. It was the Fender rep. He'd gone round to see Fender, and the Fender rep had gone, "I've got a guitar for you." And it was like that because they couldn't sell it. It was selling really bad. I was like, have a go at this. And then James was like, I don't know, man. It's like, I can't use that. It's ridiculous. It's like, well, while your guitar's in getting fixed, you better use it because that's the one we're giving you. And he was like, all right, okay. So he took it into the studio. He was like, feeling like a right dick in the studio. And after they'd done it, because I always did everything live. After they'd done it, one of the big mafia folk come up, one of the security guards like, yeah, boss would like you see in the office when they'd finished packing up. He's like, oh shit. So he walked in, he goes like that, and he's like, yeah, I know, it's about the guitar. I was like, and Elvis was like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. I want you to use that from now on. And he was like, all right, okay. He was just going to go, no, I only had to borrow it because mine's in getting fixed or getting refretted or something. But yeah, but it was Elvis that chose it. It was too flash. I do need to try Tex-Mex because I've actually got I got a set. I've got a set of Tex-Mex pickups, tele pickups. I should probably sell them. But I think the thing is, it's like, are they hot? Because that's the thing. In my definition, it always says, oh, these are really hot pickups. It means they've got a high output, which means that if you're trying to play Metallica for some reason on your Strat, they'll be better at it than this guitar is. But if you're trying to play anything even remotely not extreme death thrash metal, they sound better. If you want it to sound a bit strummy, a bit of acoustic-y jangle to it, tapping makes it too. It doesn't though. Victory, I sort of maybe been a wee bit pedantic about it, but yeah, it doesn't make it two because you don't have a start and a finish. Though technically, no, you couldn't. Yeah, no, tapping doesn't make it two. It does make it you've got a switch. It doesn't make it two pickups. So was he James Burton? Oh right, I need to watch that. I have been watching Rick Beato. It's just like it's great when he gets somebody you like. You know what I mean? Somebody that's interesting. Tex Mex are fabulous. I've got them in my telly and my Strat and they can handle anything. Well, that's the thing. It's like, again, I'm that one where what everyone else likes it. I don't know it. I've not come across. I need to put them in a guitar and try them. Put them in that Yuzuki maybe. I don't know. I mean, the other telly, but I've not actually been playing yet. This one. When I bought this, I was actually going to get it J-Packs. This is basically just the same as this, apart from this is a custom version. It's a bit more Telecastery. This had, I was looking at it and it had replacement pickups in it and it didn't have the proper knobs. And I just picked it up and went, pring, and I went, right, there's your money. That's fucking great, I'll have that. I even paid the guy, I was down to pound coins. He was up here, you want the bag of the other stuff? And I was like, what's the other stuff? It was the original pickups. What was in it was a 1978 Fender bridge pickup and a very, very desirable Seymour Duncan in the neck and also a Fender bridge because the bridge pickup didn't fit in it and the original 4 witch hat knobs. So I took all the bits out it, put it back to the original spec, and I prefer the sound of the shitty Maxons that came in that guitar rather than a real 70s Fender pickup and a very expensive Seymour Duncan wound by somebody, I can't remember. If you looked it up, there's something about it makes it expensive. You know, something stupid like the bobbins have got no holes in it or I've got a square hole in it or something. I can't remember. But I like the low output ones. But if you're trying to play Guns N' Roses on it, it's not going to be as good as the Seymour Duncans. Oh. But I need to give the Tex Mexes a go. An original Road one telly. I don't know. Yeah, Las Vegas gigs picks online. He was nervous about outflaming Elvis. Oh, Elvis is well up for it. It is annoying, Mr. Whitesteak. I do notice that. It's like, I don't know, but you're actually watching Rick Beato too, and only 2.5 million people have subscribed to it, and there's 6 million views, so a bit of money. But the thing is, I feel guilty about asking. I don't really ever ask to like and subscribe. Sometimes I remember. But even then, that doesn't even cost any money. And you see the number of people that do this Patreon thing, which I'd kind of like the idea of it, but even if I did it, I would have to do it like, there's a Patreon thing if you're really interested in it. I don't want to fucking, it seems, I just feel it's a bit extreme when you see people and you look and they've got like, 5 million subs or something like that. And this half of their video is trying to get you to subscribe and sign up for different tiers and you get emojis. No, that's a bit wank. I'm not really interested in doing it. I'd love to imagine being able to do this as a job, but I'm not going to, if I did it like a job doing all these things, it would become a job and then I wouldn't want to do it anymore. So fuck that. I remember when I sent you a pic of the Fender amp I stumbled the other week. Yes, you did, but I did not know it was an amp. Never mind that it was a Fender amp. Is it something? Is it kind of like the vaporizer type affair? I've never seen it before. I honestly, it kind of looks a bit like a fish tank or some sort of like a sun lamp. Something. What do you know? It kind of reminds me of something. If you're looking at X-rays, the light you hold the X-rays up at, so you can see that. It kind of reminded me of that. Hey VF, how's it going? You've got some of the greatest rock gods in history. Yeah, okay, I know. I mean, the thing is, he does have that thing that Parky used to do. I remember watching an interview. It was Parky was interviewing Billy Connolly, and basically at the start he went, "So how are you?" And then that was his first question, and then it got to the end, and it was like, a 20-minute interview, and I was like, well, what was your questions? I didn't ask you any questions. He's good at that, but he got to kind of sometimes poke people. John Fogerty, he did an awful lot of poking to try and get John Fogerty to react. The Doors were fucking hilarious. I absolutely loved the Doors. It was so funny. It was just two folk who are just Krieger and Densmore. Aye, because Manzarek's dead, that's right. And it was just the two of them, and it was just like, they were just pure. They've known each other so long, like two old bastards going fishing. Like, what's that with the film with Walter, what's his face? The Odd Couple, but they're old, grumpy old men or something. It's like that. And the two of us like, you weren't there. You never had that drum kit at that gig. You know what I mean? It was just like, no, the two of them are just being dicks to each other. It's really quite funny. I enjoyed that. Homage to the original Fender amps, they called them Woodies. So what is it you've got then? Is it like a Valve thing? A Fender Blues Junior? Oh, right, I've never seen. That explains why I've never seen one. There is another amp though. I mean, I've not got the problem I've got with the vaporizers. The vaporizer doesn't really go loud enough. That's another thing with playing this wee solid state Roland. It's like it still works at really quiet volumes. I don't really know. Is a Blues Junior a Valve amp? Is that a bass breaker? I just don't know amps. I don't look them up. I was really gutted about the last 3-4 weeks. There's been a Fender Champ, which is just a wee 5 watt or maybe even 1 watt brown. One of those amps that's really annoying. The back looks like the front. So the controls are kind of on the back looking towards you and that. I've played one before. My pal Jerry had one. And I thought it sounded wonderful. My pal David got one last year. Maybe a year before. I was like, my pal's got one of them. They're really fucking good. And it was like fucking amazing. And then I was looking at this one the last couple of weeks going, it's 80 quid. It's been up for like 4 weeks though. Maybe offer him 60, maybe. And then I went over to my pal David's last week, and he showed me his new rock room, and he's got all his guitars on hooks on the wall. I want that again. I need guitars on the wall. But I've been have a shot at my new. It was a PRS SE, like a Gibson Marauder, but a PRS. And he's like, "I'll have a shot at this." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I plugged it into the wee Fender, and it sounded fucking brilliant. And it was as soon as I just had to go, oh, I'm buying that one, and it was gone. It was really annoying. But it's one of those ones that it's a bit like the vaporizer, apart from it's only a tenth of the volume. Really nice. The electrical contact cleaner is the spray to use. Also, I mean, even if it doesn't fix it, I mean, it might not fix it, but surely you've got guitars that have got a slightly wobbly jack. You know, if you touch the jack socket as well, take it out, scoosh it on there, and put it back in again, and again, 90% of the time it sorts it. If your pot's scratchy, take the fucking thing out. It's honestly, see the electric windows in your car, the button's a bit shit, scoosh it. Electrical contact cleaner. Hey, Harry Graph 87. How's it going? I don't recognise your name. Hi. Cabinet is all ash with a butterscotch finish. Jensen speaker. It's 15 watts valve with a reverb tank. That kind of sounds light. Is the vaporizer not 15 watts? I think it's 12 watts. So basically a similar sort of thing, but I assume it was much more expensive. I mean, you don't have to tell me on there. You can link me. How much did you pay for it? Like hundreds of pounds? Or was it stupid cheap? ABF, there's an 80s Encore red double cup not far from me for a tenner single pupper. Right, fucking go for it. I know the one. It's a very small guitar. I would just buy that. Those guitars are brilliant. I wouldn't even think about it. I know the one is it. It doesn't say Oh, it does say red double cup. It's candy apple red though in it, and it's got the back of the neck's candy apple red painted. Yes. No, it's kind of like a Dan Electro or something. You know how you get guitars that are cheap and shit? It's like that, but it's good and cheap and shit. That makes sense? It's like you don't pick it up and go, oh, I think this costs thousands of pounds. You don't. You go, oh, this is really cheap, but you play it and it sounds really good. No, I would totally buy that. Easily. Even if it was 50 quid, I would have bought it. How much did you pay for it? Yeah, no, I would definitely. I mean, the difference. I mean, I've been looking through a lot of guitars. Obviously, I've been going through a lot of guitars for the last 10 years or whatever it is, buying the cheaper, what you can pick up for under 100 quid type guitars, and I've now very much. There's ones to look for, and there's ones to avoid. Encore, not all models. That one is a good one. An Encore Strat from that era, shit. But that one, I just because I know the one that's a good guitar. I think it might. I don't even know. I think it's a bolt-on neck. But there's a lot of guitars that are just not worth. It comes down to when I was at a car boot sale. Was it about a month ago or something like that? And it was the guy who had. I told you before. I saved a guitar. He had like a Luton van, and on the back he had some expensive guitars kind of on stands. And I was standing talking to him, and he was like up here. I was like, I can't remember what he was talking about. And suddenly I fucking just pushed him out the way like that and caught a Fender resonator that had blown out the van. It had basically off a Luton van that was that high, done a neck dive, and I just caught it like that with my hand. And the guy was when I pushed the guy. I was just talking in the middle of conversation. I just pushed his chest like that, fucking grabbed it, and you could see him go, "What the fuck? Oh, thank God, well done." You know what I mean? It went from, "You're fucking pushing me, what the, oh my God, I love you." Yeah, that guy. And he had like it's like, I've got guitars in the back, they're all shite ones though, they're like a tenner each. Electric guitars, a tenner each, and they were all in gig bags. I looked through every one of those gig bags, and every one of them, I didn't buy any of them. AX Paps, how's it going? So I use an old Marshall MG50. I know, Stevie, the problem is, it's like, there's so much to be said for just having big speakers that push air. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, an MG50, I bet you your expectations were pretty low. Shitty Tramney amp, blah, blah, blah. No, they found fucking great. I keep finding that with all of them. Maybe not the 50, but even the 30 watt one. The 31 watt's fucking an amazing amp. And it doesn't weigh that much with it. It's amazing. The Indian Encores are the ones to go for. No, I don't know. There's other Encores I like. I like the one after. I'm not really sure where it comes from. I've had plenty of them. They're quite light, and they're quite the neck's quite chunky. They're maybe early 90s, and these are the ones you pick. You can find them for 15 quid and a 10 and all that. And basically what you're getting is better than anything Harley Benton have ever built. For nothing. It says Encore on it. It's a bit shit. Someone's asking for one of the lights over nowhere near that, but less than what the standard black was. Okay, I get it. I mean, obviously I didn't think you'd spent $2,500 on it. But I just, sometimes, you know, you see these things and there is a price I would have bought it at. And I was aware of the vaporizer. To be honest, I can't even remember what I paid for the vaporizer. I didn't haggle. It was one of those ones you go, the fuck? Before I'd even finished reading the advert, like, fucking, is this still available? I'll take it, please. One of them. It went to the right guy. So a 10 or 40 minute drive, no, I'd do it. Honestly, I think it'd be a really fun guitar. The tuners will be shit. The bridge might be shit. The pickup might be shit. But once you've replaced it, there's so little to it. It's amazing. Hey, Kit Kat's you a fucking half-time, part-time wanky bastard that you're. You're not turning up. That was right. Well, I mean, obviously it could have had the headstock snapped off or something like that. But no, they are good fun guitars. The problem with those guitars is they're not worth any money if you try and sell them. So you can go, this thing's fucking amazing. It's totally, easily worth £100. You know what I mean? Here's £100. Go and find a better guitar. You can't. You'll never get £100 for it. Because it looks cheap. They're very thin. No, brilliant fun. Disagree with those lightweight, funny headstock ones. What the heck? I don't know. I'm saying about the funny headstock. X-Paps. I didn't mention funny headstocks. No, they're sort of lightweight and they've got a Fender headstock, or not quite Fendery. Don't know. It depends. There's a pink one. The more modern is at the Encore Blaster, which you think would be really good, aren't as good. Vaporizer are pretty common on Facebook, are they? I don't know. I've not seen very many. They didn't make very many of them. I've not seen very many of them. The thing is, the thing is, I mean, with a vaporizer, it's ugly as fuck, right? It really is. It's pure hideous. It really is. Fucking, I'm not in a 50s rockabilly band and I'm not in the Jetsons. Why would I want an amp that looks like that? Ugly as fuck. Also, it's only 12 watts. Who the fuck wants a 12 watt amp? It turns out if that's what you're at, it does what it does, and it's fucking great. I've not seen very many of them. I paid very fucking little for it. Marshall MG10, it just stopped making sound. What gives? I don't know. Could this be a broken solder joint or a dodgy input or anything? I don't know. Yeah, number 6, not that you asked. Kit Kats. You've just missed 3 Telecasters I've been playing so far. And a bass. You got a Sun with 2 jack inputs. Why would it have 2 jack inputs? The more modern ones don't have the lawsuit headstock, and in my experience seem to be lightweight tat. There's different one X-Paps. I mean, I'm talking about, I don't know, I mean, how many how many of them you've talking about own, but I'm talking about 20 plus. And some of them are, there might not be the ones you're talking about, but there are good ones. The thing about the Sun Mustang ones is you can't replace the bridge. You can't swap the necks because it's a thin neck profile. The pickups are, you can put a hot rail in it, but you can't put normal strap pickups in it. A normal thing doesn't fit on it. They weigh a fucking ton. But, you know, it's like, they are there. I've actually got one through there, a black one. They're good. I mean, depends what it is you're after. I just like, there's something about the Encore one's a little bit like I was talking about the Gear for Musics earlier on. That they've got that springy thing, like see, like a guitar having a bit of brightness to it when it's not plugged in. That's the problem I've got with something like a Les Paul. Even this does apply to like the Washburn Wing series and all that, even though they're not Les Pauls, they're kind of in that, warmth and plummy sound and sustain, that thing. They don't. Yeah, I mean, you could almost, if you're camping, you don't need an amp with this guitar. Somebody's been drinking Mr. Whitesnake. Very good, yes. Get 2 inputs. Aye. Yeah, no, but I mean, it's difficult. I mean, I've got Jen's getting as much better at it now as well. Just at going and buying guitars at car boot sales, because once you've already got half a dozen to 10 black Strat copies sitting in the shed ready to get painted, you don't need any more. So if you're going to be buying a black Strat copy, it's got to be a good one. And the thing is, once you get down to that, the good ones don't cost any more than the shit ones, because somebody will buy it. Puppy said he had a Mustang, £50. It was honking. He ended up putting it in the pond for 55. Well, yeah, £5 for you. Unplugged Brightness brought to you courtesy of Tonewood. Yes. Oh, there's the thing there. You've been so. If I don't know, you can't really hear the. Can you actually hear this? I mean, if I put that mic down, then. Right, so this has a laminate maple neck, but a maple fingerboard, that's what matters. Guesses for what this guitar's made of? I do know. So what kind of wood is this? What kind of tone wood is this guitar? You can tell. Listen to it. Sorry, that's you listening to the neck. Listen to the body. This is not going to be... Okay, you can't. I have to play like a mutant. No, you're not hearing that. It was one I thought about trying 20 years ago. I need to have a look at the next one, Stevie Zero. It's not pine. I do have a pine guitar and it sounds fucking excellent though. I've got a couple of pine guitars because I made a pine guitar and it was awesome, so I made another one that was awesome too. Yeah, the Dan Electro Buzz Bridge. Go to make one. It's £80, or it was £80 20 years ago when I thought of building one. What I need is a shot of a guitar with the Dan Electro Buzz Bridge on it. Like, I'll set up your... Oh, you want me to set up your guitar with the Coral Sitar? Yeah, give me a shot of that, and I will fucking make a Dan Electro Buzz Bridge and then just stick it on a guitar. But no, I've not tried it, and I have had a shot of a Coral Sitar. I think it was actually a Coral Sitar, yeah. I don't know, but then again, I had the Variacs, which, to be honest, worked better. But the thing about the Sitar is, oh, amazing. Yeah, I'll totally play Paint It Black and Tomorrow Never Knows, and but you're never going to be as good as Rory Gallagher playing Philby on it. Everything he does in that song, basically, you just watch that and you go, right, I don't need one now. Anything I was ever going to do. Milky Bar Woods, no, it's not the one. No, you're getting there though. The Electro-Harmonic Sitar pedal. I mean, it'll just be the same as the... Because it's the Electro-Harmonics do that, the Mel 9 and the... Whatever those things are. It's basically like a MIDI trigger thing. But I mean, they're fucking great. There's also the Boss... What do you call it? I need to get my MIDI guitar out. That's my Casio CZ there. Which it doesn't really look that big. It's a fucking massive Death Star of a synthesizer, that. You look at that and you think, oh, but that's a foot. There's 3 feet wide. It's a big beast. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the triggering on those things is really good. The Mel 9 and all that. I just... Good call with the basswood. That's what they make me out of now. No. It is one of the common ones. It's got a birch top. That might be throwing you. Obviously, you're hearing, oh, there's a strange wood in there. It's got a birch top on it. Swamp Ass, it is not. Basswood's the best of all the woods, according to that was when Steve Vai was designing the Gem. It was that period. I had all these things that he wanted to design. Oh, it's got to have the big scoop and the extra frets and all that shit. And that. What kind of wood do you want to make of? And it's like, oh, I don't know. It's happy. What was that? What was that Alan Holdsworth chose for his guitar? Basswood. So that's why it's got basswood. Not alder, no. No, hold on. Listen. You're just not listening properly. Listen. Hear it. Sorry, if I put it more towards the body. Oh, try and not hit it off the light fitting. Yeah, you're just not listening properly. Buttwood, yeah, totally. In Buttwood, basswood is cheap. I don't know. The problem with basswood is, or basswood, I think it's pronounced, is it doesn't have any grain on it, so it looks a bit shit. That's why basswood's not as good, because you don't get the amazing grain that you get in ash. Or Stevie got his number one and he got it right. It's a mahogany body, this one. So obviously you can hear now you can hear, now you know it's mahogany. Hear it? I mean, nothing else at 20k hertz sounds like mahogany with the maple neck, obviously. And the bridge pickup, obviously. So we'll go for so we now know that this is what a mahogany Telecaster sounds like. I'm not sure what the black one's made of. I think it might be the same, to be honest. But I do know what this one's made of, and it's made of something else. Here we go. So unplugged and then plugged. If you don't get it, unplugged. This was one that was when a good few of the comments were this is one of the best tones of any guitar I bought recently. So unplugged. That should be enough. So we've got the same neck. This does have a separate fingerboard. It's not a one-piece neck, so not that dissimilar. Hear it? It's not as... But there is a huge difference between these two. This bridge thin and top loaded. This bridge, boom, through strung. That makes a difference. I don't need to upgrade the pickups to the stock Concord. I don't think so. Oh, I don't know. Depends what you want it to sound like. If they work, I would definitely... Like, my advice to an awful lot of people who are thinking I want to upgrade parts of my guitar, get the guitar set up. That makes a much bigger difference. Assuming it's not already playing like an absolute belter and you want to just get that wee extra bit over the cliff. You know what I mean? It's like, it's playing like an absolute belter. Oh, put Seymour Duncan's in it. Oh, there we go. Whereas what is more common is, oh, my guitar sounds shit. Oh, you could get it set up. No, I'll put Seymour Duncan's in it. Yeah, it sounds much better. And it's like, no, but see, if you just set it up, it would go to there. And then you could put Seymour Duncan's in it. Set it up. Mahogany body plus maple top. Not quite there. Yeah, perhaps it is plywood. Must have said that before. But yeah, I mean... But yeah, more weight. It feels different. Well, that was at the start. See, when in like the 50s and the 60s, the Telecasters that were thought of as being the good ones were the heavy ones. The light ones were the shite ones. It was the heavy ones. You'd be like, oh, I've got a Tele, it's 10 years old. It weighs 10 pounds. Oh, that's the one you want. You know what I mean? Because at that point, even right up to the 70s, that's why I like things like the Falcon and that. I've got brass, everything. And it's got like fucking rosewood and ebony and all that. It's got heaviest woods. What's heavier than that? Even your West Tone Concord won't be maple, but the West Tone Spectrum guitars are solid maple all the way through. That's why they weigh like they're made of stone. For a heavy guitar, I don't know, it depends. It's kind of, there's a Goldilocks zone into it. It can be too heavy and it can be too light. There is a point where it gets too light, but sometimes it's nice, I don't know. I know you feel, if you're trying to say that X-Pac, you're talking about Full Deal, feels dead and unresonant, whereas this doesn't feel dead and unresonant. Mind you, maybe it doesn't have the same thing. I mean, what was it? If I put my head on it, you know, it's like you can tell the resonance by sticking your skull on it. Seems pretty fucking resonant to me. Sweeter the cushion. Actually, I was watching. I did actually watch Spinal Tap 2, and it was like, it really got me. It was like in Big Bottom when it goes, "How can I leave this behind?" There are obviously the smutty and quite obvious, nearly kind of getting to Steel Panther ridiculous. Then he goes like, "How can I leave this behind?" He's actually talking about our ass. How can I leave this bottom? It's like fucking great. Also, anyone else got a fetish for, or maybe not a fetish for, white guitars? If this had been black with a white scratch plate, I wouldn't have gone and got it. I don't think. I would have been tempted with a Yuzuki if it'd been another, if it just been black or tobacco. I don't think I would go for it. It's just got to be something that appeals to you, and if it appeals to you, it appeals to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm looking for another guitar that's got a body wood I know of, but it's not really there. What's the reason for plywood guitars? It's because it's perfectly acceptable to use plywood. The difference is it came down to, like, it was Yamaha. When Yamaha came out with the Pacifica, maybe the first, I have maybe bought 4 or 5 guitar magazines in my life, and like 3 of them were when I'd played the guitar for, less than a year type thing. And it always told you about they were slagging off, I think it was Epiphone, and it was like the new Yamaha Pacifica 112 or whatever, solid wood body. If you wonder if your guitar or the guitar you're looking at, see if it's available in a natural finish. Because at the time, Epiphone, Squire, everyone was just plywood. And it was like pure, oh no, hold on, oh no, I need the pure tone of 6 bits of solid wood nailed together, not plywood. And that's it. It doesn't. Well, when does it become plywood? But yeah. It's not B&Q plywood these things are made of. You know what I mean? It's a much higher grade than marine ply and shit like that. But they're fine. You know what I mean? It's like, the problem I've got with plywood, it's the same as the bolt-on neck guitar thing. A bolt-on neck is in many ways better than a set neck, right? The set neck is better 1% because it's a better join, or you get maybe a slightly lower heel, and 99% is because it's more expensive to make a set neck guitar. The chances are that if you're buying a guitar that is a set neck guitar, it's a more expensive build. So because they spent more time putting the neck on, they maybe spent more money on the parts and the frets and all that shit. So that's why a set neck guitar is better than a bolt-on neck guitar. Not because a set neck's better than a bolt neck, because the one with this, it's the same with the plywood thing. If you've got a plywood guitar, it's unlikely that somebody's got a plywood guitar and they've built it really well. It's more likely they've got a plywood guitar because they've tried to make it cheap. Oh. Hey Andy, no, I'd never go to the doctor. We're playing mahogany tonewood. Believing in tonewood is like believing in Santa. A through neck is better. How? It doesn't sound better. My point with a through neck is, I can't remember I was talking about this. If you're going to have a through neck, I want to be able to see that it's a through neck from the front. None of this like that, my A20 there, all painted black. What's the point in having a through neck if nobody knows you do? Do you know what I mean? There's no point. You've got to be able to turn it around and go, look! And you see it all the way running through the neck. Otherwise, there's no point in having it. Catch you later, Ben. Normally, when you say you're going to bed, I just give up. I'm kind of nearly there. I've drank most of my bucky. Your guitars apart. Your telly's remarkably similar to this. It doesn't count. It's like, it's so much more important. I mean, those two guitars you've got on, definitely the telly, because I've gone through it. That guitar plays better than every single Harley Benton that's ever come out that factory. If you look up the internet, no, it isn't. It's shit. It's plywood, and thousands of people love their Harley Benton with it on uneven frets, and it's been stuck together in 10 minutes. That thing. It takes more cost, time, and labour to make a plywood guitar than a solid guitar. Possibly. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, certainly I found that when I was building guitars out of the butcher's block kitchen worktop. I built that double neck. It took fucking ages. That wood is so strong and moisture resistant. It's the strongest. That'll still be going after every other guitar I've got. And rather than just spend 50 quid on a piece of maple or mahogany or ash to make the body, I spent 10 times as much effort to make it out of kitchen worktop. And now I've got a fucking awesome guitar that's absolutely perfect in every way, but it's worth no money at all because it's made out of a kitchen worktop. Yeah. The Ply Squire one. Yeah, the neck would have been fantastic. Yeah. That's the thing as well. When you go back to a certain era, it's like Squires are always... They never wanted to... Well, maybe... Apart from the very first Squires, it's very much at a price range. Remember, they're owned by a company that's making American Strats and Mexicans and stuff like that. So whatever it is they do, it can't be approaching as good. It's half the price of the Mexican. Therefore, you don't want it to be too close to being as good. So they're held back and things like that. I live alone and play a Strat. Hey, Ian. Your night the through neck has to show from the front. It has to, even from the back. I mean, that fucking... This one. Am I going to get it out with it and sit on this? There we go. There you go. 5-piece walnut maple through neck. It's like ebony fingerboard. You look on the back and you go, huh? What's the fucking point in that? Honestly, I've got the A10, which is a set neck, and it's exactly the same profile because the set neck kind of comes into a bit here. You know, it's not like a Gibson. You know what I mean? It's like a proper fucking big wedge that comes in. Aye. So what's the point in that? And it always annoyed me about the bass as well, because more the 8-string bass, because it is through neck. Which, okay, it's not painted in such a way. You can see it there. It kind of looks like the way the sunburst goes over that bit there. You have to look at it. You can see it going all the way through. And then you look at the front and it's like, oh no, we'll put a fucking crappy tiger veneer on top to hide the fucking stripe. No, put the veneer on the sides, but leave the stripe down the middle. Such things annoy me. But you would always take the through neck. I've no problem with plywood guitars. I don't know, but the thing is, it's kind of... I totally get it, but it's the same thing if you're buying a guitar that's, you know, if you're paying thousands of pounds for it, then yeah, I would want one made of walnut. Look at the corker. It's one-piece maple, one-piece burl walnut body. Of course I mention that every time I pick it up. Does it make a difference to the sound? I don't know. But it's got it. And it's like, why do I mention it? It's expensive. Surely it's expensive to get a piece of walnut burl big enough for a whole guitar body. That's really desirable, really expensive. Therefore, it's better. Nah, because it's worth more money. Yeah. The new Fender Standards, I've not tried them. I don't know. I mean, Ricky, you stand that. No, you don't have to. X-Pap. See if you look at if I took the pickups out to clean them, you can see the stringers running all the way through it. But yes, there's no doubts. But I don't know. I should go and try one of those Fender Standards. The problem is I'm just not. There is something, even like, say a guitar, whatever guitar it is, like say you go in and buy your whatever the base model Mexico, it's not even a base model, is it anymore? Whatever the Mexican telly is, in 30 years' time, it'll be like this, because time is a good thing on guitars. It makes the wood dry out, because no matter how much, okay, maybe if you're getting hand-built shit, you know what I mean? But any normal, somebody they've got a profit line to make, they're going to dry out that wood as quickly as they can to get it to build quality guitars. And but they're not drying it out for 40 years. Now it's 40 years dry, and it does make a difference. And just having so many old guitars and seeing so many relics, it's like you look at the relics and it's like, even I remember trying, I think it was $8,000 for a 59 reissue Les Paul Gibson thing. And the binding, that doesn't look like 50-year-old binding or whatever it is. I know what old binding looks like. It doesn't look like that. That's a sort of funny coloured binding. It's not what old binding looks like. Oh. But I would be tempted to go in. I don't know. The thing is, how much are those Fender? Are they not like £1,000? And again, as we were talking about earlier on, honestly, if I was going to, I mean, I couldn't afford it, but obviously I could sell some guitars, and I've sold guitars at more than £1,000. I don't know what kind of guitar it would have to be if for me to spend £1,000. Assuming I had it, assume I won $5,000 in the lottery tomorrow, right, and I've got $5,000. Is there a guitar I'd pay £1,000 for? And it's like, the answer is, the only one I would be willing to pay £1,000 for would be one that would be worth more than that. You know, I was talking about that Gibson SG Special, something like that. For £1,000, when I know it's worth $2,000, I would buy that, but I would not buy one for playing. There's no point. On a par with Squier Affinities? No, they can't be. Really? It costed £1,000. Wow. I mean, for me again, I mean, a grand is 3 times what I would ever spend on a guitar. Very roughly, that's my kind of, my logic is there. It's 3 times what I'd ever spend on a guitar. And the way you're describing it there, probably every one of my guitars, or 90% of the guitars I've got, are probably better than it. No, I bet you they're all better than it, because any ones that didn't play amazing, I've spent time splitting up. The only guitar I would push into 4 figures for would be a top-end FGN. Wow, I don't know. I mean, that's you basically saying, that I think the ones that are £1,000, you're looking at like a Les Paul, and okay, I don't know how much I put an FGN Les Paul costs, £1,000, £1,500, but I would pretty much put money on it that's better than anything Gibson could do. It doesn't say, Slash doesn't have one. I looked up the forums, but actually, in every single measurable way, I bet you an FGN at like £1,500 is better than a £3,000 Gibson. In every single way you could possibly measure it, for any taste, apart from the forums where Slash didn't play that. Peter Green didn't play an FGN. He played this guitar. And this guitar I've got here, which I spent £10,000 for, says Gibson on it as well. It was made in a different factory. Every single part's completely different. And it's nothing like the original guitar, but it says Gibson on it. Therefore, it's the same. I spent more on... My MOT was actually cheaper than my most expensive guitar this year. I got an MOT last week. Actually, that's probably the cheapest MOT I've had in like 5 years at least. How long have I had that wee Black Panda? 5 years, I think, the cheapest MOT I've had. And I've got guitars that cost more than that. I've got maybe It cost me, I've maybe half a dozen guitars that I've bought for more than what my brakes and MOT cost. But the thing is, see, when you look at cars, I noticed this very much when I got that Honda. Guitars are fucking expensive. It's maybe not expensive if you're paying £100 for a guitar, but you're looking at something like a Gibson Les Paul, £2,500. A Fender, I'm still thinking a Fender Strat costs £1,000, but if I'm thinking an American one costs £1,000. Obviously, you're talking about an Indonesian one costs £1,000, so an American one must cost £2,000. If you're looking at that guitar and you compare it to my Honda, it's like, my God, the Honda's got so much more parts. I mean, there's more in one of the heated electric super fucking adjustable seats than there is in the whole guitar. Easily so much more in it. Spend more on the wife's hair than I spend on guitars. Well, yeah. You ever thought of shaving your wife? Just get the old, what is it that makes your hair fall out? You know, some sort of cream, and you could save some cash just buying a wig. Yeah. There's Kurt Cobain Jagstag on the Scotland Music page, a bargain, only 1,200. But I mean, is it? I don't know. The thing is, my pal's got one. He's got it was his wife, my pal Michael, his wife actually messaged me and says, I'm going to buy Michael one of these, the Kurt Cobain ones. And I was like, I looked them up and I was like, right, there's a trick to this. You buy the first run, which is a Japanese guitar, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of the same. This is maybe about 10 years ago. It was the same price as the other one, blah, 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 but it was Japanese and whatever it was. And that's the one you got. So that one, yeah, is £1,200, but I bet you it's not that one. But even then, is it a £1,200 guitar? No, it's a Japanese thingy, so it's okay. Maybe not as high, it's higher spec than this, something like the Antori or the FG. It's quite high spec, but not. It's not worth £1,200 because it's a £1,200 guitar. Very few guitars are a £1,200 guitar. Remember buying a Les Paul Custom from 1987 for £700? Well, there you go. Would that be brand new? Would that how much they cost? I don't know. I mean, I think I remember a Les Paul Standard being £1,200. I think when I started playing the guitar, I think it was about £1,200 for a Les Paul Standard. I think an SG Special was about $599, and an SG Standard was about $799. And I think the $799 would have got you a Les Paul Studio. And then when you went up to, and that was basically it. There wasn't huge ranges of Gibsons. There was, 5 models or something like that. There was ones in the catalogue, but you never saw them used. But I mean, it's like that whole thing about the used thing is it's what it is that you're after. But once you get up to a certain point of money, over £1,000, say, you're not really looking for the best instrument, because you know that the best instrument you can buy for, £1,000, £1,500 is going to be an Ibanez or a Yamaha. You know that they're going to be the best. That's the best instrument. So you get those folk who buy the £1,500 Rev Star or the RG or whatever it is. That's the best. That's in every single measurable way and absolutely miles better than a fucking Fender or a Gibson, but it's not worth as much money, so it's got to be all about the show-offiness of it and the fact you've got to go, now I'm going to Fender, an American Fender. The thing is, I can't, there's a bit of me that goes the opposite way, where it's like, someone's like, yeah, I've got a Strat. Look, no, I've got my Fender Blues Deluxe on, and I've got the £700,000 Ibanez Tube Screamer. Right, go, let's hear you playing. And you'd better be the fucking best guitar player I've ever seen. Oh, you're shit. Wank. Whereas I like the idea of someone going, oh, here we go. It's like, what do you think of this riff? And they're playing through, their Marshall MG, and they've got like a fucking, you know, an old Westone, and but they've all their effort, instead of all their effort being in hunting down the most desirable gear, it's been on learning how to play. What a difference. I'm going to have to try and put some guitars up for sale. It goes in waves. Remember, I bet you it happens again. Maybe it's the time of the month. There was nothing on. There's not been anything. I said about 3 weeks ago, basically when I bought this, just before I bought this, it was like there's fucking nothing interesting on Facebook Marketplace at all. I'm going to stick some guitars up for sale because there's fuck all interesting. And then there was lots of interesting things. And now there's nothing. You know, looking through it, there's nothing interesting. Check the post subs, vendor or not. I don't know. I just kind of like that. I could see how somebody would want to relic a guitar to make it look a bit cool, but the problem is now the amount of time, because I know what I'm doing, but I can fucking refret a guitar. The time that it would take to say, here's this guitar, blah blah blah, right? Are you gonna I want to make it better? I would be able to I would just adjust it and adjust it and adjust it and file this and and get it playing amazing. Whereas if you didn't know how to do any of that, you could just sit and try and sand it. Not sure what your surname is, but if it's a Scottish one, why not get JPACs on the case to do you a Clan Tartan telly? I thought about it, but I mean, for some reason, I don't think there is a Kyle Tartan, but I don't think it's me. I mean, yeah, I've got a fucking Scottish name. My name's Malcolm Kyle. You know what I mean? It's like the two most Scottishness of names ever. My Burnley Les Paul is a far better guitar than my Gibson. Well, it depends which one it is, because they did make cheaper ones, but I don't doubt that at all. I think the Japanese, it's like I've been, you know, cutting lumps out of that fucking rolling cube, and there's so many bits you go, the Japanese. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the Japanese. It's like just designed to do that. It's like, it's not like the other stuff where you go, fucking, alright, okay, that's broken. Oh, that was a bit of a shit design. That doesn't happen. I'm kind of feeling a wee bit of that with the car as well. It's like pure fucking Japanese. Everything works. You know what I mean? It's like pure, that's a dodgy part. We'll make that bit really strong. Alright. Okay. Roasted maple neck, rusty ashtray bridge. I don't know, Mr. Whitestead. I mean, you can go. I like dry roasted peanuts, but I'm not sure about the roasted neck. The roasted neck is the reason that started doing the roasted neck was so they didn't have to dry the wood out. So you can either put the wood in a shed for 10 years while it dries out, or you can just put it in the shed for a week and roast it. And then it became the buzzword. Oh, roasted maple neck. Oh, roasted maple neck. Oh, locking tuners. Oh, roasted maple neck, locking tuners. Oh, stainless steel frets. Stainless steel frets, roasted. And it's only £200. Oh my God, Harley Benton. That guitar's better than a Fender, and it's £2,000. I'll buy that Harley Benton. Oh, this is great. I'll need to learn to play the guitar now. It's strange that these chords are really difficult to, you know. The Chinese have caught up with the Japanese. Not in quality, they don't, unfortunately. Technology-wise, yeah. I mean, like circuits and stuff, yeah, totally. But they just don't have that extra bit. The thing is, you can kind of feel it with these things. It's just that wee bit of... Actually, know who's better than Japanese at building guitar? Yourself. That's the thing. This is my guitar. I did the frets for me. I've got to live with it. That's more. And I spent far more time on it. I spent all fucking week. I spent a whole day doing something to get it absolutely perfect. They don't do that. Even in their 10 grand PRS, they don't spend all day trying to get the nut right. You know what I mean? So the tolerances are right down. You just go, is this as good as it could possibly be? Not quite. Okay, I'll spend another half hour at it. Oh, just to get it perfect. Makes a difference. Guitars have been, they're coming out fine, yeah, but I mean, they're never going to be, it doesn't matter what you do with, I think this was like a Samick guitar or something like that, it doesn't matter what you do with it. It's just only ever going to get to a certain point. It's never going to be in that tier of this is as good as it could be, which I just think the Japanese can get in it, and there's elements of America that get in there, but not all of it, not all Japanese either. A ropey stain? I've never seen ropey written out before, but R-O-P-E-Y. But yeah, I get you. I was like looking at it going, that's not how you spell ropey. But I get it, soapy, but with an R. But yeah, R-O-P-E-Y. I don't know, it just comes down to it. But there's no point in making the best guitar. You're not going to win. You've got to make the most sellable guitar. That's where the money is you've got to make the most sellable. It doesn't matter whether it's great. Oh, what do you think of this Telecaster? That's fucking amazing. It doesn't have Seymour Duncans. It doesn't have locking tuners. It doesn't even have a roasted maple neck. It doesn't have stainless steel frets. What the fuck are you asking? My God, I've got a Harley Benton that's got all those things up here. Yeah, but you don't need that shit. Just the accuracy of just setting it up. Oh. Right, I'm going to give up. That's 10:30. That's been perfectly long enough, and I'm quite drunk now. So, a couple of folk never turned up. At least Cat's turned up later, but Sloaney fucking never turned up. Anyway, we'll see you all during the week. I've got a couple of videos coming out. A wee bit of my super recording amp thing. My rolling cube with pedals stuck to it. There was sayings that Japanese quality has been dropping since the 1990s. Well, I don't know. No, because I've got the FGN. That's the thing. It's like my FGN's a 2018, and it's basically the equivalent of that Antoria or the CSL or this. It's just made in the same factory. Things have moved on a bit, but there's an awful lot of things in common between it, and the quality is there. The wood's not as good as it used to be. The hardware's better now because they know what they're doing. It's kind of mental. In all aspects of the products, cars, I think, is that not just the world, though? Shortwave? It's like, is the world just not as good now? Maybe. Mr. White said that's a bit fucking heavy. Anyhow, rock on. I'll see you during the week, and I'll endeavour to try and get this fucking YouTube room done. I've got most of my guitar parts out the way. It's just like thank fuck I have the extra room. It's just absolutely full of shit, and in here has pure accumulated. I mean, have a guess at how many guitars are in this room just before I go. Have a guess how many guitars are in this room, and I'll do the counting. It's a round number. Catch y'all later. It's 30. 32. Isn't that ridiculous? 10. Fuck's sake, Stevie, I've got 10 and out my left eye. Right, rock on. I shall catch you later. Right, how do I turn this off? I can't remember now. Where's the thing that says end? How's it not end stream? So, love you all. Rock on, and I'll try and do some videos this week. Catch you later.